Hi guys, so today we're going to be analyzing Beethoven's Violin Sonata number 8, and we're going to be looking into the third movement, the Allegro vivace. Okay, so first we're going to take a look at the formal overview of the whole piece. So typically, a rondo form consists of an A, B, A, C, A, D format, which would be just the A section repeated in a lot of different sections, but with different material in between the A sections. So for the sonata, Beethoven follows a rondo form, but what is very specific about this rondo form and the sonata is that it has a development section and a coda in it, which not only makes it a rondo form, but also a sonata form. So the whole form of this piece is going to be a rondo sonata form. So the final form for the entire piece is an A, B, A, C, A, and then we have a development section, and then the A section comes back, and then we finish off with the coda. Okay, so first we're going to look into the A section, which is a section that is repeated throughout the whole piece. So this A section consists of a typical period, the basic idea followed by its contrasting idea, and then it ends in the half cadence in G, which is what the piece is in. And then it is followed by the repetition of the basic idea and a contrasting idea. So what is different about this period is that at the beginning we have two basic ideas because the basic idea is played first by the piano alone and then it is repeated once the violin comes in. What is also very different about this is that after the consequent, the basic idea turns into the contrasting idea. And this is done by the way the bass line in the piano part is moving towards the cadence, which makes it into the perfect authentic cadence. What we have to keep in mind is that this piece is in R equals 2n, which is when everything is doubled. So instead of your basic idea, usually just consisting of 2 measures, it is now extended to 4 measures. So it extends everything and doubles it up. Okay, so now we will listen to the A section of the piece, and this is what I was talking about the basic idea repeats again after the violin comes in. And then after the contrasting idea, we have our half cadence, and the bass line in the piano part leads to the perfect authentic cadence at the end. Something very interesting about this is that when 5 enters right here, when we have our half cadence, 5 enters from all the way over here. So we just have the development of 5 at a constant to just push us towards 1 back again. Okay, so after the A section, we have the B section. And the B section consists of 2 sentences. And one of them includes one of Kaplan's one more time technique, which we will look further into detail later on. So we have right here, after the first sentence, we have this what should sound like a cadence, but then it's not accepted as a cadence, and then we end with the perfect authentic cadence. In comparison to the A section, the B section doesn't follow the R equals 2n anymore. It goes back to a regular diagram, which would be a to measure basic idea to measure basic idea. So now we will listen to the B section, and this is where the cadence should have been, but it's not accepted until right here. So just watch out for that and try to listen for it. the repetition of the basic idea. So of course, after the B section, the A section repeats again. And after the A section, we have the C section. So for the C section, it changes a little bit because it doesn't really follow one of Kaplan's main themes. It starts with the basic idea and followed by a contrasting idea. And this is in E minor. It modulates to E minor, ending with the perfect authentic cadence in E. But one thing we have different is that we have a retransition, which is not very common to have. And with this retransition, it pushes back to the main key. Okay, so now we will listen to the C section of this part and watch out for this, the beginning of the retransition, which starts right there. And then the retransition. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the development section that happens in the sonata. In the development, we find different sequential repetitions as well as new material. And we also find the main theme from A, the basic idea that we find it transposed in C instead of the original, which is in G. Okay, so I've got some of the sequential repetitions that happen throughout the development. If we look at the first one, it starts ascending by step. And if we look at this, the piano accompaniment part, it's just a sequential repetition going up. Then if we look at this one right here, we see that it's descending by step as well as the violin part. We have the G and then, sorry, the A and then the G and then the F. And now we're gonna listen to the development section so that we can see these sequential repetitions. So this is the first one. The repetition of the main theme. And then it goes straight into this one. So the development is followed by a short retransition into the back to the A theme, and we're gonna listen to the retransition. So after the A theme is repeated, we go into what would be a coda. So the coda starts off pretty normal, and it seems like it's gonna end right here, but the coda does something called does the alternate path, which instead of ending there, it just continues into new material that we find. So throughout the coda, we just see the main theme of A, the basic idea of A, repeated and varied in many ways, either playing the left hand playing it in the piano or the violin playing it. And our piece ends with a PAC at the very end. Okay, so now we will listen to all of Beethoven's Violin Sonata, and I will guide you guys through the different parts of it. So the A section. And then the B, it's going to go into the B section. section, C section, A section back again, then we have the development section. And then the retransition, back to the A section. And then we have the coda. Alternate path starting after this. So now we're going to look into a more detailed analysis of the piece. So we talked about Kaplan's form and how they follow a certain model. So I want to talk about the main theme, which is A, that doesn't really follow the exact model of Kaplan's, being because it repeats the basic idea at the beginning, and then for the consequent, it makes the basic idea into a closing section. So it doesn't really follow the exact basic idea, contrasting idea, basic idea, contrasting idea that we're used to. And that's what makes the A section very unique and very different from what a normal phrase structure would have been. An example that follows Kaplan's perfect model for a sentence would be the second sentence of the B section, being the basic idea, and each being 2 measures long, and then followed by fragments of that basic idea, and then finished off with the cadential lead-in to the perfect authentic cadence, which is something that Kaplan's model exactly represents. So now we will look into the main themes and motives that are repeated throughout this piece. So for the main themes and motives that I chose is mostly coming from the A section. And the reason why I chose these specific parts is because they are repeated throughout the entire piece, every time in A, but sometimes we see pieces of them in the other sections, either exactly the same, varied, or just the harmonic analysis of it. I would really recommend this recording by Anne-Sophie Mutter, she's a very famous violin player, and you guys can find it on YouTube, and it's a beautiful piece, and I highly encourage you to listen to the whole thing, not just the third movement. to appreciate Beethoven's amazing music. So for me, the most striking feature of this whole sonata was the development section because you wouldn't really find the development section in a rondo form. And that's what made it so interesting to me that Beethoven took the time to develop a whole development section in between the rondo form. So that would be for me the most striking feature of this piece. And with that, we are finished, and I really hope you enjoyed this presentation.